podcast 148 is also a book titled Bajanwaves, which was captured and framed in publication 281 and ventilated in ISBN 978 976 9682498. I am not an oceanographer, but was exposed to oceanography during my academic tenure as a sophomore in pursuance of a bachelor's degree in media arts at New Jersey City University. Theoretically, I acquired knowledge in a wide range of topics, including marine life and ecosystems, ocean circulation, plate tectonics, and the geology of the seafloor and the chemical and physical properties of the ocean. This lived experience of enlightenment, together with basic sciences in this ambience, I have gained knowledge of this study, coupled together with my cognition and cognitive skills now as an author, cinematographer, media arts specialist, licensed cultural practitioner, podcaster, and publisher, caused my skills to grow exponentially in the area of education and research. On reflection, this fascination and lived experience, intertwined with my academic journey, challenged me intellectually to proffer Bajanwaves in a book highlighting characteristics, amplitude, period, frequency, and energy. It should be noted that within the context of linguistics, this book, Bajanwaves, comports itself as a double entendre, and a portmanteau can be applied interchangeably. The term wave is a slang and can be used to describe the latest trends. Although this book, Bajanwaves, is a word and an expression, yet it is capable of two interpretations. In this text, this word function is to blend the songs and combine the meanings of the two others. This book, Bajanwaves, is part of the Bajan dialect, which is one of the most prevalent attributes that connect the people of Barbados to their African and English heritage. The word Bajan is derived from the word Barbadian. However, due to stronger accents which once prevailed, the word sounded more like Barbadian and eventually was shortened to Bajan. To add to this discourse, according to Writing Explained in English, homophones are words that are pronounced the same way but do not mean the same thing. Many homophones are different parts of speech. W-A-I-V-E and W-A-V-E can both be used as a verb, but only one can be used as a noun. In spoken English, we can use context to determine which word is being used, but these words become more confusing in writing, especially as verbs. All things being equal, this construct, wave, can also connote a nonverbal communication gesture that consists of the movement of the hand and or entire arm that people commonly use to greet each other. But it can also be used to say goodbye, acknowledge another's presence, call for silence, or deny someone. The wave gesture is an essential element of human language. The term wave is a slang and can be used to describe the latest trends. A wave, that is a nonverbal communication gesture that consists of the movement of the hand and or entire arm that people commonly use to greet each other. But it can also be used to say goodbye, acknowledge another's presence, call for silence, or deny someone. Furthermore, the wave gesture, which is an essential element of human language. Now that the dust is settled, Let us not conflate this theoretical construct Bajanwaves, which is a portrait of WAVES as opposed to WAIVE. Wave is a flow or transfer of energy in the form of oscillation through a medium, space, or mass, and not all visual and auditory stimuli both occur in the form of waves. Although the two stimuli are very different in terms of composition, waveforms share similar characteristics that are especially important to our visual and auditory perceptions. Waveforms of different types surround us at all times. However, we only have receptors which are sensitive to specific types of wavelengths. At the end of the discourse, it should be noted that sea waves or tides, a song which we hear, a photon of light traveling, and even the movement of small plants blown by the wind are all examples of different types of waves. In this compendium, it should be noted that there is a perception that global citizens always had a complex relationship with the ocean. The ocean affects every human life. It supplies fresh water and oxygen, moderates the climate, influences our weather, and affects human health. We rely on the ocean for food and transportation. The ocean is never still. Whether observing from the beach or a boat, we expect to see waves on the horizon. Waves are created by energy passing through water, causing it to move in a circular motion. However, water does not actually travel in waves. Historically, it is also noted that there are four named oceans: the Atlantic, Pacific, Indian, and Arctic, and all the oceans are connected to each other. Water is always moving within and between the oceans in currents, tides, and waves. The oceans are so old that over time, minerals have dissolved into the water that make it taste salty. Much of the salt in the oceans is made of the same stuff as ordinary table salt. Symbolically, waves are also a constant movement of energy. Sometimes this energy can be calming and soothing, but other times it evokes enormous power and strength. Therefore, it also symbolizes power, vigor, and might force. It talks about the power and energy within us, or yin and yang. However, the wave which I am referencing in my story is a flow of transfer of energy, and in the form of oscillation through a medium, space, or mass. Sea waves or tides, a song which we hear, a photon of light traveling, and even the movement of small plants blown by the wind are all examples of different types of waves. The energy captured is then used for all different kinds of useful work, including electricity, generation, water desalination, and pumping of water. A case in point, there is a new desalination plant in Barbados. It is the largest brackish water desalination facility in the Caribbean. According to Sevin Johnston, John McGline, and Veronica R. Prado, wave energy is expected to take between 5 and 10 years to reach commercial readiness. Barbados is considered to have a moderate to good wave resource, and a number of potentially suitable development sites have been identified off the East Coast. I have always been fascinated at the phenomena of the waves. The emergence of this consciousness seems plausible due to my experiences in planning, learning, mediating, reflecting, creating, observing, and listening to the rhythm and the song of the waves of the sea as they roll to the shore. This became very apparent, especially whenever I am leisurely and regularly walking early on mornings and or late afternoon in the company of my beloved wife Magnola on Browns Beach, Bridgetown, Barbados. To get a handle on this topic, I decided to drill down into the same. This meant employing my macro lens literally and metaphorically so that I can focus extremely close on the waves to capture and frame the explicit details of the same so that the said waves will appear large in the viewfinder. Historically, oceanography, also known as oceanology, is the scientific study of the oceans. It is an important earth science which covers a wide range of topics, including ecosystem dynamics, ocean currents, waves and geological fluid dynamics, plate tectonics and the geology of the seafloor, and fluxes of various chemical substances and physical properties within the ocean and across its boundaries. These diverse topics reflect multiple disciplines that oceanographers utilize to glean further knowledge of the world ocean, including astronomy, biology, chemistry, climatology, geography, geology, hydrology, meteorology, and physics. Waves transmit energy, not water, and are commonly caused by the wind as it blows across the ocean, lakes, and rivers. Similarly, energy fuels our body's internal functions, repairs, builds, and maintains cells and body tissues, and supports the external activities that enable you to interact with the physical world. Water is your body's most important nutrient, helps facilitate the chemical reactions that produce energy from food. The three essential things that our body needs energy for are the heartbeat, metabolism of foods, respiration, and regulation of water and body temperature. Waveforms of different types surround us at all times. However, we only have receptors which are sensitive to specific types of wavelengths. The ocean may seem like a vast and unchanging landscape, but the reality is that the world beneath the waves has continuously evolved over time. And the four main periods of history can attest to that. Prehistory to 600 BC, Classical Era 600 BC AD 476, the Middle Ages AD 476, AD 1450, Early Modern Era AD 1450 AD 1750, and Modern Era AD 1750 to present. Waves continually move sand grains along the shore. The work of waves moves sand from the beaches on shore to bars of sand offshore as the seasons change. In the summertime, waves of lower energy bring sand up onto the beach and leave it there. In the wintertime, waves and storms of higher energy bring the sand from the beach back offshore. Since ocean waves are one of the most powerful natural phenomena on Earth, they have a significant impact on the shape of the Earth's coastlines. Generally, they straighten coastlines. Sometimes, though, headlands composed of rocks resistant to erosion jut into the ocean and force waves to bend around them. When this happens, the wave's energy is spread out over multiple areas, and different sections of the coastline receive different amounts of energy and are thus shaped differently by waves. There are four main types of breaking waves, namely spilling waves, plunging waves, collapsing waves, and surging waves. A wave breaks when it enters shallow waters and the bottom of the wave slows down. The moment the wave reaches a depth that is 1.3 times the wave height, the top part of the wave collapses. The idea of turning wave energy into electricity took place in 1799, when Girard and Son patented a mechanism to drive wave power to activate pumps, mills, saws, and heavy machinery. In theory, the wave energy potential of the United States is estimated to be 2.64 trillion kWh, which means around 65% of all the electricity in the country in 2016. The world's first wave power farm was installed in Portugal. As waves reach the shore, the energy in front of the wave slows down due to friction and the shallow bottom. Meanwhile, the energy behind the wave moves at full speed and is channeled upwards, climbing the back of the bulging wave. It should be noted that waves also work in combination with tides and currents to carry nutrients to marine animals along the shorelines. By pushing water onto the shore, waves make it possible for intertidal animals to live in areas of beaches and shorelines that would otherwise be too dry to sustain them. Finally, characteristics, amplitude, period, frequency, and energy are part of this book, Bajanwaves, which highlights the sea waves or tides as a song, which we hear, a photon of light traveling, and even the movement of small plants blown by the wind are all examples of different types of waves. This book, Bajanwaves, highlights seawater rise and fall due to gravitational forces of the sun and the moon are called tides. This theoretical construct, Bajanwaves, is detailed and explicit about how sea waves are generated by tides are called tidal waves. The rise of seawater and its movement towards the coast is called tide, and resultant high water level is known as high tide water or HTW. That said, in all plausibility, the song of waves captured in this book, Bajanwaves, how waves seemingly alters brain patterns, which lulls you into a deeply relaxed state and rejuvenates body and mind. Also, the seaside encourages physical activity, even if it's simply a walk on Bronx Beach, Bridgetown, Barbados. This lived experience of enlightenment together with basic sciences in this ambience, I have gained knowledge of this study coupled together with my cognition and cognitive skills now as an author, cinematographer, media arts specialist, licensed cultural practitioner, podcaster, and publisher caused my skills to grow exponentially in the area of education and research. It's also a book titled Bajanwaves, which was captured and framed in publication 281 and ventilated in podcast 148 in ISBN 978 976 96824998.